Hey guys, I'm Bethany.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is Looking for the Middle.
And it's CouchCast time!
Yes, it is.
Is it my turn to pick out of the bowl box?
I think. You know I cut this out every time, right?
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Dang it.
What are we talking about? That's long.
What does it look like for a guy to lead well?
Ooh.
Great question. Didn't you come up with this?
I think I probably wrote that one down. And I don't even know what I think. Always be prepared. Gosh. I am not.
Yes.
Okay. I want to point out, first of all, that, and we say this, but I think we need to keep saying it because I think girls need to hear it. And guys need to hear it, too, that it's okay. Leading well, being a good leader, does not equal being the loudest person in the room.
So glad you reiterated that.
Because we get so focused, I think, on this typical alpha male leadership style. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's something to be said for a quiet, confident servant leader as well. Leads by example of service. That's what Jesus did.
Oh, yeah. Jesus wasn't the loudest, most boisterous person in the room all the time.
No.
Except when he was flipping tables, but other than that.
That's different. So I think that's the first thing, is you don't have to be, because if you're not that, I think for guys, that's got to be stressful to maybe feel pressure that you should be that when it's so anti to who you are. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I think, I'm trying to think of things that if I see in a guy, I'm like, oh, he that's a good leadership quality. I think one that comes to mind that may not be super obvious is he asks good questions and he's got some like a sense of curiosity. It's not always, this is what I think, this is my opinion, I'm going to tell it to you. It's like, no, let's talk about this. Yeah. Let's ask questions. Let's
because a huge
dive deeper into this.
So sorry to
no, you're fine.
I do it all the time. I'm so working on it.
You're fine.
A huge part of leadership, though, I think, is knowing the people that you're leading. Whether it's your girlfriend, fiance, wife, whatever, or it's a group at church or your team at work, taking the time to invest in getting to know them and knowing how they need to be led is a huge sign of a good leader to me, I think.
That's a great point because people need to be led differently.
Yeah.
Based on how their personality is and just how they're wired.
Well, think about it like a sports team. Not everyone is coached the same way.
That's so true.
Some people respond to being yelled at and berated.
Yeah.
I was not one of those people.
I just cried if you did that.
Some people respond to encouragement saying, it's okay. Like, I know you totally screwed up that play, but you'll get it next time. And a good coach finds out what those things are and coaches people accordingly. So I think the same... Coaching is leading. Like, it's the same
concept. Well, you know you're going to get the best out of that person if you're leading them in a way that is effective to them.
Exactly. So seeing someone who understands that and takes the time to really invest in whoever they're leading is huge. Especially, I mean, if you think about a marriage, it's two people together for the rest of their lives. And if you think that neither one of you is going to change at all in that amount of time, I think you're a little bit naive. It's just not going to happen. And so if you're this goes both ways, but if we're talking about guys here, if you're with a guy who recognizes the change that you go through, and as life happens, he sees those differences and takes the time to invest and really figure out what makes you tick, that's a huge aspect of leadership.
I totally agree.
I think another part of leadership that I look for, and this is specifically Christian, is someone who their leading is modeling Christ. Was it Paul that said, follow me as I follow Christ? So I look for that in a guy. Is he saying, follow me because I'm following Christ? Be like me because I'm being like Jesus. Not be like me because I'm so great and wonderful and awesome and you should be like me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think
so. I think that's a big one. Is what is he leading you towards?
Yeah, that's a great question to ask. Another one for me, I would think, is if I would say a guy is leading well if he is open to not criticism, but like constructive criticism or feedback.
Is he teachable?
Yeah, is he teachable? That's a better way to put it. Because if you are following a guy who thinks he's right all the time and refuses to admit when he's wrong and has that stubbornness about it, which, don't get me wrong, a little bit of stubbornness can be a good thing in certain circumstances, but teachability, is that a word?
I think so.
Is key to me, because that shows a sense of humility too, of, you know what, I don't have it all figured out, and I'm not going to make every decision I'm not going to make the right decision every time.
Right.
But I'm going to learn, and I'm going to keep going forward, and that's someone I would want to get behind.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of that is knowing what your strengths are, because we talk a lot about, well, the husband should be the spiritual leader of the home, and he should lead, and the wives should be submissive, and I 100% agree with that, and I think they should. But I think it can get swung too far to the extreme in that, you know, if your husband has certain strengths and then you have strengths that complement his weaknesses and vice versa, that doesn't mean you can't lead in a certain area in your home. That's not what that means.
No.
And I want people to understand that, because I don't think it's fully...
This isn't a hierarchy.
Right. And I think when men are called to lead, they are called to lead their families and love their wives as Christ loved the church. And how did he do that? He gave himself up for her. So that's what husbands are called to do. So I think when you're looking for someone who leads well, look for someone who doesn't lord that leadership over you.
That's a great way
who isn't saying it's my way or the highway, but who realizes leading well is discussing and deciding on things together. And sure, if you've discussed and you've tried to come to a conclusion and you just don't fully agree, then your role as the wife would be to submit to his decision in that, even though lovingly, willingly say, you are the leader of this family and I will get on board. But it's not, he's just going to decide whatever he wants to and you have to go along with it. That's not good leadership on his part.
There's a really big difference there. And I've seen marriages firsthand that have been that way.
Yeah.
And I've also seen marriages who are more on the discussion, play to your strengths.
Yeah.
You know, this is a team effort. And I know which one I want and which one I don't.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think that's so true. And God put you together for a reason. He realizes those strengths and weaknesses are there. And I realize we're talking a lot about within marriage. But I think that's more where this is truly a thing. You want to look for patterns of this as you're dating. But like we've said before, it's not your boyfriend's job to lead you. It's not your job to submit to your boyfriend. You're looking for someone who, should this progress to marriage, could I submit to him lovingly, willingly, joyfully, and will he lead well in that role? But while you're dating, that's not his job.
I totally, 100% on board with that.
Yeah.
This will probably be my last one. I'm having a really hard time answering this question. Like, I know but
it's hard to verbalize sometimes.
I'm having a hard time articulating it. I think what it would look like for a guy to lead well would be to encourage me to seek wisdom from other people too. So if he's like, hey, I really love that you're in a small group, or yes, please go meet with your mentor, I really value that and think that's a great idea, or hey, have you talked to your parents about this?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Not that you have to just take all of their, like, do what everybody else says you need to do, but like, I think if he's encouraging me to seek wisdom when I'm making a decision or when I'm praying through something, I would have a lot of respect for somebody who did that.
Yeah.
And I think, too, that's just him encouraging me to grow spiritually and for other people to invest in me.
Oh,
too.
yeah. I mean, you know, that you're supposed to leave your father and mother and cleave to your, like, leave and cleave.
Mm-hmm.
But there's wisdom in recognizing your parents, his parents, your mentors are still a stage or two ahead of you in life, and they have wisdom to give you. It's not, I think it's okay, you can gather all of those resources, gather all of that information, and then the two of you still make a decision.
Agreed.
But there's wisdom in him saying, hey, I don't have all the answers. Talk to these other people, and then we will make a decision for us.
Yes.
It shows that humility.
Yeah, it really does.
And being willing to humbly move forward with that.
Yeah. I think so too.
I don't think I've got any.
This one's a thinker.
It was.
But it's
I don't
good.
really have any other groundbreaking thoughts. Those are kind of the ones that I tend to think of when we talk about leading well. It's what I look for, I guess, in someone.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about looking for patterns of someone who would lead well as a husband, those are the things that I try to see. So yeah, that's my 2 cents worth on it.
Great question, Bethany. Thanks for sending that in.
My word.
If you have any questions you would like us to answer, please feel free to email us, DM us,
Smoke signals work fine too.
Yeah. Now I'm tripping
I
all over
totally
my words.
threw her off.
DM us on Instagram, message us on Facebook, write us a letter. I don't know. We don't give out our address.
Don't write us letters. That'd be weird if you had our address and
Yeah, that would be a little weird. But
okay.
We would love to hear from you.
Yes.
Every time we ask for this, we get new questions, and it's so
awesome.
fun to read. And they're from all over the world.
Y'all
which
have
is
much better
so
questions
cool.
than we do, too.
Very true. So,
cool. Until next time, though, I am Bethany.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is Looking for the Middle.